guys. I just wanted to step in and say hi to you. Just let you know, guys, how much I miss you, how much I miss being in class. Um, we are going to be starting something new, and I wanted to make sure that I was putting, I guess, my voice into how you guys are learning some of these things, especially since we're not together. This is definitely new for all of us. Um, I think it would be so much easier if we were together, but unfortunately, that's not something that can happen right now. Um, so I'm going to try and do my best to make sure that I'm putting these out there for you guys to be able to go back to and look at. So before we left, for spring break, we were doing area and perimeter, and we kind of finished that. And when we were supposed to go back, we were supposed to finish up our measurement unit. So we're going to continue with that now. So the first thing we're going to learn about is the metric system. Now, before we go into all of this, one of the things I wanted you guys to know is that we've got in the measurement unit, we've got what we call units. And we've got small units, we've got large units, and we've got units that kind of build up. So what I want you guys to know is that one of the rules that we always use every year is, we usually, if you were in class, I tell you guys stand up and put your hands in front of you. So you would put your hands in front and make like you're holding a small box. So this is going to represent, this small box represents like a small little unit. And when we are going to go from one small unit to a large unit, we would divide. Now think of my arms as that, one little line in between that division symbol. My head would be that one circle on top. My body would be that other circle, so we divide. So when we go from a small to a large unit, we divide. Now we do the opposite when we go from a large unit, so like we're holding a large box, to a small unit. I'm going to cross it, and what am I doing? I'm multiplying. So large to small, we multiply. Now it's going to be really important that you guys remember, because when you're being asked a question to convert something, you're going to have to kind of think in your head, okay, well, I know my large unit, I need to know my small one, so that means if I know my large one, I'm going to a small one, I'm going to multiply. Now if I know my small one, and I need to know what the larger unit is, then I'm going to divide. So small to large, we divide. I want to make sure that I put that out there. Now, we are starting with a metric system. We've got our two systems that we are going to be studying, the metric and the customary. The metric system is fairly easy because it is on base 10, so you don't have to know any like strange numbers like in the customary. But with the metric, it's easy enough because it's base 10. All of it is either 10, 100, or 1,000. When we start and we look at length, we are going to measure in meters. This is a meter stick, and this is about a width of the door. Now, if I hold it from the ground up to me, it's about right about to my little bullet above my belly button. But this is a meter. Our smallest unit in that would be a little millimeter, which is about the width of a dime. Then we've got our centimeter, which is about the width of your pinky. So from here, from one end to the other end, which it would be a centimeter. We don't really talk about decameter. Some people always ask about that, but decameter would be the same as 10 centimeters. But we'll go through that in a bit. Our next unit we're going to be looking at is going to be volume. So this is a liter, a 1 liter bottle. I took this from Miss Whittington last year. But this is exactly 1 liter. Our units are are going to be liter and milliliter. Now a milliliter, let me see if I can find my eyedropper. This is a little eyedropper. So a milliliter is just 1 little drop. So if you think about it, there are 1,000 little drops in this liter. So milliliter, liter. All right, and then the last thing we are going to be looking at is a gram. Now this is a gram, and I don't remember at the beginning of the year we talked about this in science, and we talked about what a gram is, and this is like a little gram. I mean, this hardly weighs like any It's extremely light. So these are the units that we're going to be looking at for Monday and Tuesday. So we will go through that in just a few minutes. Okay, so I am back. Now this is this week's presentation. Now if you notice, this is going to be all of Monday through Thursday. So you'll find all of the activities for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on here. You'll also find a video for every day. Now make sure that you are completing this day by day. Now since I'm completing this with you, you know, and I will be showing you how to do it, just make sure you guys are getting these done. There is a completion grade, so just do what you can as we're going through this. All right, so one thing I want you to think about is if you want to finish the entire week and turn it in before Friday, you can. That way I can look at it early. Now, that doesn't mean you finish it in 1 day or 2 days. I think that when it comes to a topic like this, you don't necessarily want to finish it in 1 or 2 days. Take some time, you know, but don't wait till Friday to finish it either. Make sure you guys are going through this because these are difficult concepts, and you know, when you're learning something new, in order for it to stay, you've got to just kind of like let it mull over in your head. Just think about it. So today we're going to be doing the metric system. You know, don't jump into Wednesday when we're doing customary. It's a lot for anybody's brain to handle, even mine. So, you know, if you wait till Friday to get it all done, then I'm not going to be able to give you any feedback and say, hey, you know, go back to this. You know, this is what you could have missed. So try and just, you know, keep a good pace. Just don't wait till the very end to finish it. Okay, so this week we will be focusing on TEKS 4.8A and B, which is identify relative sizes and convert measurements using the metric and the customary systems. Now, if you click on this little icon right here, and this little word where it says star chart, it will take you straight to the star chart, you know, that we know. Before we left, I said, this is your best friend. Now, when it comes to using measurement, it really is, and it is really helpful for you guys to have it. So I have put that link up for you guys. I think I'm going to skip a day. No, okay. All right, so this is the day one, Monday, April 27th. Now, I put a stop sign here because I want to make sure you guys are going back to these newsletters. This is the newsletter from March. Now it'll bring it back to you, what we're supposed to do here, a couple of videos. Make sure you're watching these videos on the metric system and the customary systems. These are really helpful for you guys to learn. This is just a picture, but it is a good graphic. Now, if we were in class, I would have you write this G out and have you read the story because this is important for you guys to know. But make sure you guys are going back to this newsletter for information. All right, and then again, I've linked the star chart again. All right, so these are those pictures that were on our hall wall right outside. And, you know, if you recall, Miss Whittington and I had put these outside of our wall. We are working with the metric system, so this is meters, this is milliliters, and this is grams, so weight. So this is length, this is liquid volume, and this is mass. So this is really good for you guys just to kind of look at and go, okay, what was a millimeter? Millimeters length, you know, that's the width of a dime. Centimeter, width of a pinky or a ladybug. This is a meter, you know, and so forth. When you go back over here, here's your liter. It's a 2-liter bottle. Okay, so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going on to this. This is where the video would normally be at, but I'm recording it, so obviously it's not there just yet. I will be inserting that in. And this is the activity that we will be doing together in just a bit. All right, so again, I wanted to make sure that you guys went back and you were looking at this star chart. You have the star chart for the centimeters. You know that there's a ruler right over here. We will be referencing some of these. Okay, so here I've got my worksheet, and this is all for metric. So we're going to convert metric units. The base units in the metric system are meter, gram, and liter. The metric system of measurement is based on the multiples of 10. So just basically what I said earlier is base 10. Here's a chart for you to reference. Now, this is a lot of wording right here. Now, you've got to, again, think about tense and tense in some of these, and tense with a TH, as I said before. Okay, so the prefix used with the base unit indicates the size of the unit. So a kilometer is 1,000 meters. So that's just basically saying that ruler, there is 1,000 of those in 1 kilometer. And that a meter is 1/1000th of a kilometer. So that just means that one of those rulers is just one piece out of 1,000. All right, the next one, a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. And a meter is 100 centimeters. So that ruler I showed you earlier, that's got 100 centimeters. Now I've got a smaller ruler over here. And in this small ruler, so on this side where I've got my centimeters, there's actually only 30 in here, which would be the same thing, I believe, for this one right here. I've got 0. So it's just each of these, there's 20 centimeters on this one right here. Okay, a millimeter is 1/1000th of a meter, and a meter is 1,000 millimeters. So if I take my big ruler right here, and I show you that if I start from 0, there is literally 1,000 marks right here going all the way. So right here, this is 1 whole meter, so this is 99 centimeters, but these little tick marks right here, there would be 1,000 of these. So it's just talking about one of these is 1/1000th of this giant ruler. All right, now that is a mouthful, and it's easier to see it, be able to hold it and look at it more than anything. All right, so we're going to be using these units. The unit of measures are listed in order from largest to smallest. You can use these conversion factors to convert units. So we've got our length, we've got our mass, and we've got our liquid volume. So 1 kilometer is the same as 1,000 meters. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. For mass, we've got a kilogram. 1 kilogram equals to 1,000 grams, and that 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. So 1 gram, this again, right here, this is 1 gram, which means if I divided this up into 1,000 pieces, the tiny little piece would be a milligram. Can you imagine? That doesn't weigh much of anything. This doesn't weigh much. Can you imagine what a milligram weighs? And then I've got you've got your liter. So our bottle right here, our liter. And there are 1,000 milliliters, so 1,000 little drops, 1,000 drops out of this, right in here. And that 1 milliliter, so 1 drop of this, just 1 drop, it would be 1 drop of this big old bottle right here. All right, so right here you've got some really good information. It says to convert from a larger to a smaller unit, you multiply the conversion factor. So I've come up with a couple of little cheat sheets for me to kind of look at and to take notes of. And right here, these would be really helpful for you to look back onto right here. So right here it tells me 4 meters equals to 400 centimeters, which would be true, yes, because I know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So then my plan would be to do 1 times 100 would be 100. So if I had 2 meters, then it would be 200. 3 meters would be 300, and 4 meters would be 400. So this is how we would follow this right here. Now, what I've come up with is a small note-taking some note-taking things that I've done. So our units are millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. I know 1 centimeter is the same thing as 10 millimeters. 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. 1 kilometer is the same thing as 1,000 meters. So if I know my, this is going from a large to a small, if I know my large unit, if I know how many centimeters I have, and I'm going want to find out how many millimeters that is, then I'm going to multiply. So I'm going from a large unit to a small unit. So I'm going to multiply large to small, I multiply by 10. Large to small, I multiply by 100, and then large to small, I multiply by 1,000. Now, if I need to know, and I'm going from a small unit to a larger unit, then I'm going to divide. So from millimeters to centimeters, then I'm going to divide by 10. Now, if I'm going from centimeters to meters, I'm going to divide by 100. And if I'm going from meters to kilometers, then I'm going to divide by 1,000. So we're looking at the 2 meters they're talking about. So while we're looking at this, yes, centimeter is small, but compared to the other one, this is the large, centimeter is larger than a millimeter, so I would multiply, especially if I already know these units. So, but if I know these units over here, I know the smaller unit, and I don't know what the larger unit is, then I'm going to divide. Okay, starting over here, we're going to look at this very first one. Now it says, I know that I've got 3 kilograms. Now I'm going to look at my mass because that's where we're doing grams. So I know that 1 gram is the same as 1,000. I'm sorry, if I know that 1 kilogram equals to 1,000 grams, yes, that's what I'm trying to say, that 1 kilogram is the same as 1,000 grams, and I've got 3, well, my process would be to go and multiply. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 1,000 because I know that 1 kilogram is the same as 1,000 grams. I'm going to multiply 3 times 1,000 to get 3,000 grams. So there I have it, going from a large gram to a small, from a large unit to a small unit, and I'm going to multiply. Now over here, I'm going from meters to centimeters. So large to small, we multiply. Now I know that 1 meter equals to 100 centimeters, so I'm going to multiply this by 100. So 9 times 100 is 900. Now over here, this one's a little bit more tricky because we've got 500 milliliters, and we need to find out how many liters that is. But we've got to divide when we've got to do that, and we would do 500 divided by 1,000. Well, you know, y'all would look at me and be like, Mr. Reno, like that's not something that we can do. You know, there'd be a simple trick, and this one, you definitely have to think of it as tenths. So here's another cheat sheet I kind of made for myself, looking at it. So I've got my volume. I know that 1 liter, one of these, is the same as 1,000 milliliters. Now, let's say I had half a bottle, and half my bottle was full. Well, then I would have 500 milliliters, which is the same as 5/10, or, 1/2. So 5/10 of a liter would be 500 milliliters. So we're thinking of tenths. So in this case, if I know I've got 200 milliliters of juice or something, then I know what I have is I have 2/10 of a liter. So think of 1,000 as your whole, And if you wanted to know what 1/10 of that would be, well, 1/10, which is the same as 100 milliliters. So when I'm going from liters to milliliters, we're going to multiply by 1,000. And when I'm going from milliliters to liters, we divide by 1,000. Okay, so again, this would be 500 divided by 1,000. And we've just said that that is the same as 5/10 of a liter, or half a liter. All right, the next one, we've got centimeters, and we're going to meters. So small to large, which means we are going to divide right here. We're going from this small unit to this larger unit. So I know that there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, so I need to divide this by 100. And 200 divided by 100 is 2. Now I can check myself by doing the opposite, which would be 2 times 100 is 200. All right, the next one, I've got 8,000 milliliters. So I'm going from milliliters to liters, which means I am going to divide by 1,000. Now the good thing about volume is you just got to know either multiply by 1,000 or divide by 1,000. All right, so 8,000 divided by 1,000 would be 8. So this would follow that rule. 8,000 divided by 1,000 is 8. So if I have 1 liter, I have 1,000 milliliters. If I have 2, then I have 2,000, 3, 3,000, 4, 4,000. So 8 would be 8 liters. Now this next one over here, I'm going from meters to centimeters. So this is my larger unit. Large to small, we multiply. So 75 times 100. Now how do I know that? Now I can always reference my chart, my star chart, or my star chart over here, or I can reference this up here. But so when I'm looking at centimeters, 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. So that's how I know. So I'm going to multiply 75 times 100. Now we're going to use our nifty little trick where we underline our basic fact, dot our zeros. So 75 times 1 is 75 with how many zeros? 2 zeros. Okay, our next one over here, we're going from liters to milliliters. So I'm going to multiply that because I'm going from this larger unit to a smaller unit. And I'm going to multiply that by 100. So I go over here and I know that one liter is the same as 1,000 milliliters. Sorry, I need to multiply that by 1,000. Sorry, not 100. I knew that was wrong. All right, so I know that 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. So 2 would be 2,000, 3 would be 3,000, 4 would be 4,000, and 5 would be 5,000. And 5 times 1,000 is 5,000. Like this next one, I've got 60 grams. And I'm going to need to multiply that as well, since I'm going from grams to milligrams. And I'm going to go reference this. And I've got 1 gram equals to 1,000 milligrams. So we're going to multiply this by 1,000. So underline your basic fact and dot your zeros. So I've got 6 times 1 is 6, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros that follow that. So my answer is 60,000. My last one is going to be 85 kilograms, and we're going to grams. So we're going from this large unit to this small unit, which means we're going to multiply. Again, we're going to use that same rule, multiply by 1,000. So again, we'll reference this right here. 1 kilogram equals to 1,000 grams right here, which means I'm going to multiply by that. So kilograms to grams, multiply. We're going to use our same rule, underline our basic fact, and dot our zeros. So 85 with how many zeros? 3 zeros. Okay, so if you have written these down on paper, just make sure that you've written them down and you've gone and you've put your answers on here. What you're going to go do now is you are going to go back to your presentation. Now let me pull that up really quickly over here. And pull this up and look at the screen. Okay, so right over here, what you're going to notice is you've got these boxes over here. Now I've put the box in there and it's already centered, so all you really need to do, let me see if I can focus this a little, is just kind of click in that little box right here, and you are just going to type these numbers right in here. Now I'm just going to do this first one right here. And that's it. Just go through all of them. Hopefully you have copied all of these down, gone through it with me. Write them down, and I believe it automatically saves. All right. There is a question down here that you'll need to answer it. Just go ahead and click anywhere on there and start typing your answer. So read it and type it, and we will see you tomorrow.